Thank you for your time. My name is Kayla. And
Kayla.
Hello, my name is William.
William.
Good, thank you.
Pleasure.
okay, so as you know, we'll be asking you 13 questions.
13 questions.
13 exact.
All right.
And
Lucky
one
number.
follow-up question, most likely.
Maybe 14
Okay.
then.
Maybe. The first question is, what was your inspiration to start this business?
My inspiration to start this business. So, this is an existing business that was failing. I live in the neighborhood, and I would come up here and get coffee, and it was a coffee shop, dog park, but the food was not very consistent, the service wasn't consistent, and they actually closed for 2 weeks because they couldn't pay the electric bill.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, because I grew up in the food business, my family had restaurants growing up. I thought, I could probably do a little better than these people are doing. So I called the owner, because I knew the owner had moved out of town, and asked him if he was interested in selling. So the inspiration was more, I can take this and make it better. Not so much like it was I invented it. It was something I could do better.
Was the name originally Parkgrounds, or did you decide to?
It was Parkgrounds, and I decided to keep it Parkgrounds because grounds, coffee, grounds, park, coffee, grounds, park, grounds. Bam.
There you have the name.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said already that it was dog friendly.
Right.
But why did you decide to keep it dog friendly?
Decided to keep it dog friendly. Well, one, it was a part of like the concept that I thought I could keep and kind of refine. It was a service to the community because there are a lot of people with dogs who want to hang out with their dogs, but also maybe want to have a drink or something. So I just kept it as a dog park. Now, the one thing I did start trying to do was make people understand that it was a cafe with a dog park attached to it, not a dog park with a cafe attached to it.
So
Seems like there's not much difference.
So you didn't want people to just come with
Right.
dogs?
Yeah, because I gotta pay the bills.
Because it's just like, oh, well, here's a dog park.
Here's a
Well,
dog
I
park.
guess I'll get a drink.
Right. Versus, hey, I'm gonna get a drink and
Hey,
I can bring
my dog.
my dog. Yeah, totally. You get it.
Would you let dogs in there, or would
It's
you
a-
keep them?
It's a health code violation.
What about
so they-
service dogs?
Service dogs, legally, you have to allow service dogs in all establishments.
Of course.
How many of your ingredients are farm to table?
So, farm to table can be kind of an amorphous idea. I will tell you that we do get our milk directly from it's southern Swiss dairies. It's local cows. And when I first started getting milk from the farmer, he was milking the cows and delivering the milk. And now he's gotten a little bit bigger. So that's one of the big things. Some of my produce is local. Like, I'm more local than I am farm to table because I'm not so much a restaurant. I'm more just like breakfast food, like farm to table eggs, like what do you eat. So I do get like locally sourced breads, local pastries, things like that.
Do you see a difference between normal milk and milk from cows?
You know what? I do. Because the milk we get is...
Some people don't, and that's
right.
a problem.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's so much a problem as much as...
They don't really realize
yeah, but... And I thought... And I'll be honest, before we started getting this milk, which is more expensive, I thought milk is milk, right?
it. Yeah.
But this is not enriched, it's not overly processed, it has to be pasteurized, but it's just not beaten to within an inch of its life
Yeah.
and still call it milk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not GMO, it's not all the things. It's
Yeah.
milk.
Yeah.
And it's local, and it's like I'm getting milk that came from a cow like a couple days ago kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it does seem to make a difference.
Kind of same question as I asked before, but where do you get your food from?
We get our food from what you would call a mainline purveyor called Cisco. Most of our food we get from Cisco. It's a big, huge mainline purveyor company. We get our produce from a produce company. We get our bread from Masada Bakery. We get our milk, like I said, from Southern Dairies, Southern Swiss Dairies, and we get our coffee is roasted in Athens, Georgia. So that's something that's kind of still also it's locally roasted. They source organic beans.
So it's still kind of agriculture because you're not going all the way to California to get it.
Right.
So when did you start this? Yeah.
I bought this place about 8 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many hours a day do you work? Do you still work here?
That totally depends. Some day, I'm more in a position where I'm kind of a firefighter per se. So what a firefighter does is he sits around and the alarm goes off.
Yeah.
So I get up in the morning and check my phone. Someone may have called out. Someone may, because I have two places. Someone may be sick. The alarm may have gone off. There might be something wrong with the equipment.
So you're just like a fill-in and making sure that everybody's going good.
And I make sure the payroll's getting done, and I do orders, and I
Do
do
you
stuff
like
like
check
that.
in every day?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every day.
So it's not like, oh, I see they need me today, so I'm going to come in. But so even if somebody doesn't need you, you're still going to come in and like see how you can help?
Yeah, I kind of have a routine of coming here in the morning, going to my other place, and then coming back, and then going home.
Okay.
If nothing's going wrong, I do that every day.
Okay. What are your expectations for your workers? What are you expecting from them?
I've learned to have very low expectations of my workers. My expectation is that they will hopefully show up close to being on time and make an effort to serve the customer. A big thing with this business is, for me, it's food service cleanliness.
Yeah.
So, greet the customer, keep the place clean, make the food right. Make hot food hot, cold food cold.
So your kind of your expectation is to be really chill with this.
Try.
Try.
It's not very good at that,
Okay.
but yes.
So,
Not very good.
do you know why this is a coffee shop, or why did you decide to keep it a coffee
Why did
shop?
In some ways, it was a path of least resistance. The place isn't big enough for more equipment, so it's set up the amount of space and the layout behooves more of a coffee shop environment. And the other aspect of my inspiration is coffee shops historically have been someplace where people gather and talk and interact, not where they come and sit on a computer. But in my culture, it's where they interact. And I just like the idea of making a place where people have an environment to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, where did the name Parkgrounds come from, if you know?
Well, she asked me that, and it's the original owner called it
Do you
Parkgrounds.
know why they call
What? Well,
Most likely because, like,
it the same?
yeah, it's kind of the
Or-
same idea. I mean, that's why I kept it. I would say that that's the same thing. It's hard to come up with like unique names
Were
for
you
places.
considering any other names?
Not really.
Or you just like, I don't really want to do much?
I don't really want.
So
Well, there
you're
was
thinking-
plenty to do, so
Yeah.
I cleaned up the menu. I changed the menu. I got beer and wine. I changed the coffee menu. I changed some of the rules. So it was kind of like I took what was there and worked to make it better.
So, how big is this business? Is it just like one building, or is it multiple different buildings?
So it's the one. So I've got this one location, this one building, and then I have another place that is not a Parkgrounds. That's like a counter service breakfast and Mediterranean place.
Like the other one that you own.
Yeah, the other one.
Okay.
It's called Cafe Neo.
Do you ever plan on expanding Parkgrounds?
No, probably not.
Okay, so you like how it's a small, local,
Right.
neighborhood business?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've thought about doing another location, but honestly, the dog park thing, it works here
Yeah.
because of the way it's laid out. But it would be tough to go, say,
Also,
to your neighborhood.
Yeah, it might also seem like too much, because like some people, they don't like having too much going on with their business.
Yeah.
So if you have like another one and the dog park with it, it might seem like
It's a
too
little
much
much.
to handle.
It's a
Also,
lot
you
to
have your own restaurant.
Right.
How did the romaine lettuce recall affect your business?
So, the romaine lettuce recall. It didn't affect my business here directly, but it did. We had to switch to iceberg lettuce. I had to throw away about $200 worth of produce,
Oh my gosh.
which at the end of the day isn't that huge of a deal, but
It's still
it's
$200.
$200, right?
Did you plan on? Did you like compost it or did you just throw
We
it?
just had to throw it away
Because
of the.
you couldn't compost
They
it.
kind of said like just throw it,
Like, don't even think of
don't
composting
think
it.
of doing anything other than just pitching it in the garbage.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. Iceberg went with the romaine recall. Iceberg lettuce, a case of iceberg lettuce is normally like $23.
Yeah.
The third day of the romaine recall, iceberg lettuce was $72.
That is
Because they realized the lettuce that's a lot like romaine lettuce.
Demand,
Yeah.
and all these people buying iceberg, and the way before this started, the way the kind of industrialized produce is set up, it's a supply and demand thing.
Do you think it's good for your business to know that you're actually making a change? Because I don't didn't some
What do you
people
think? Like putting a I put signs up in the door. Yeah.
I don't know. Didn't some people not listen to it and just kept their romaine lettuce?
I think businesses listen to it. I think mostly individuals are like, well, heck with it. The same people who say don't get a vaccination, they probably get
Yeah.
vaccinated.
But it might
Okay,
it might make your business
Right.
people feel a lot better knowing, oh, this person actually cares about what the community says.
Right.
So, how did other food recalls affect your business?
Well, right now there's a hamburger recall to the tune of like hundreds of thousands of pounds of hamburger.
Yeah, the only places that aren't getting recalled are like Farm Burger and other places.
Right, and those are places are sourcing local.
And it's a farm to
Yeah,
table, so
and
Right, it's a
it's
farm
not.
to
No,
table.
I mean they're getting vaccinated so much that it's become immune to disease, but then there can still be disease in the burger.
You know what it is? It's not so much that, it's the way it's processed.
Okay.
It's the way it's processed, and it's the not having enough oversight. So it affects my business in that hamburger now, even though I get hamburger that is safe,
yeah.
the price is going up. Because again, that's supply. and
Supply
demand.
and
Yeah.
demand, 'cause- yeah. That's
and
all that we had.
That's all the
That's all you
questions.
had?
So
Thank you.
All right, fantastic.
thank you so
Yes,
much.
right on.